Okay, now what you are seeing on the screen right now is the Excel worksheet and is a part of Excel workbook. In this session we are going to share the basics of Excel and later on we will look at the shortcuts in Excel. Now this window is called as worksheet and there are different worksheets that are available over here which you can surf across. These are called as various tabs, so home, insert, page layout, formulas, data are different tabs in Excel which you can browse through by clicking on those particular tabs. Predominantly we'll begin our work in the area of home tab today, and later on as and when required you can surf across these various tabs. Okay, now let us look at how does Excel really function. Okay, now most of this work we are doing it into Microsoft Excel and the Windows system, but later on we have also done some work in Mac based system, where the tabs and looks may be a little different but functionality more or less remains the same. Now let us look at what is this rectangular box is called. Okay, now all these rectangular boxes that you're seeing on the screen are called as cells, and each cell is referred to by a column index and a row index. Okay, so here you're looking, it is getting referred as G7. Okay, so we are currently in G7. Now let us say I enter a number which is little longer in length, so let us say more than 5-digit number, and I press and enter tab key. So it is very critical that you press a tab or enter key once you have entered a number. Now for you and me it's a number, but for Excel not really defined so far. So we need to define for Excel that it's a number. To do so we need to format this cell. So for formatting cell you need to press a right click button over here and then go to format cells. Now mostly you will go to a mouse when it comes to doing a right click, but the best part of Excel is that you can also use a right click button on the right hand side of the Windows button on the keyboard. So there is a button that is between Windows button and control button which you can press and you can get the right click symbol. Okay, so over here there are different options over here, so this is the one which we need to press. But if you observe closely, even the titles that you're finding over here have different shortcuts. Okay, so the shortcuts include a capital letter with an underline, a capital letter with underline, and over here you will see format cells as another shortcut available in the form of F key. So I'm pressing F over here. So the moment I press F, a format cell menu opens up. Now there are different tabs in the format cell menu like number, alignment, font, border, fill, protection. Okay, so the one which is active, you would find that it is getting highlighted by a dashed line. In this case it is currently number. So we want to set this cell to a number, so we get into number. Again, for moving from number to category, you can press a tab key. You would see that dashed line has moved from number as a title to general as a title. Then you go to number. Then once again you press a tab key, set decimal places to 0. Once again you press a tab key. Now you need to select this use thousand separator, which is standard denomination. So to do that you may again want to use mouse, but instead of that you can simply press a space bar. After pressing a space bar, the selection of thousand separator has happened. Press a tab, select the negative representation of number. So in this case I have chosen it as minus sign with 1 2 3 4. Once again press a tab key and hit OK, and this is how you get your number. Okay, so this is with a thousand separator. Now let us move ahead and play with these numbers little bit. Okay, so let us say I give you 4 numbers A, B, C and D. Let us say A is 1 2 3 4 and B is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, now instead of me giving you additional numbers, let me say that now you need to compute A plus B, B minus A, A into B and B divided by A. Okay, to do the simple operations, you will say equal to and A plus B. Normally in calculator you would see you would enter the numbers first and then hit the equal to sign. In Excel it is reverse. You have to press equal to sign first and followed by the numbers. So this is the A plus B. Now you will say B minus A. So B minus A, then A into B, A into B. Okay, so instead of that doing B minus A, let us do A minus B, so that you can represent it in negative numbers as well. So A minus B, okay, and then it is B divided by A. Okay, so once again, for we making it a presentation in the form of percentages, I am saying A divided by B. So A divided by B. Okay, now having done this, we want to format this cell. So what we will do is we will use shift and upward arrow key. Okay, right click, then go to format cell by pressing F key, and then say all these are numbers with 0 decimal places, 1000 separator mark, and negative number with red color and negative sign, and you would see numbers getting represented accordingly. Here A divided by B, we need to do it in percentage formatting. So simply once again you can do right click F. Now instead of you doing right click F, there is further shortcut that is there, which is control 1. So if you press control 1, okay, you can simply go to percentage, set the decimal places to 2 and say okay, and this is what you get, A divided by B value. Okay, so this is how formatting of cell works. Okay, by the way, there is a further shortcut for percentage formatting, which is control shift 5. So you can use that shortcut to make any number into percentage format. Okay, this is the basics of doing the computations. Okay, now let me share with you some of the other things. Okay, let us say I am saying there is this number A, B and C. Okay, and then there are certain other numbers P, Q and R. Okay, and I'm just randomly choosing any numbers over here so that there is some sequence to them. Okay, or we can say that ABC are the projects across region 1, region 2 and region 3. Now if I want to compute the percentage contribution of each of ABC to total of R1, R2 and R3, then I will need to do total over here. Okay, so what I need to compute is percentage contribution of A, B and C each to each of to each of R1, R2, R3. So to do that, I need to do sum over here. Naturally, I will say the basic calculation, this plus this plus this. Okay, and this is what you get, 1200. Okay, now while this is fine, there is another alternative option that you have, which is you can say equal to sum of all these numbers. Okay, and then just say copy and paste them over here. Okay, so what happens when you copy and paste? When you copy and paste, you can see the formulas got copy pasted completely. Okay, so what did we do? I am just repeating it once again. We said equal to sum of, okay, and then we copied it and then we pasted it. Okay, so instead of that, what you can do is you can, so what happened over here, the formulas got copy pasted. Okay, so if you move to right, you would see formulas getting shifted right, or references inside the formulas getting shifted right. If I copy and paste the formulas down, you would see formula references are getting down. Okay, so the cells that you give inside any formulas move relatively unless and until you explicitly freeze them using the dollars, as we will see in the cell referencing as we go ahead. Okay, now there is one more shortcut over here which you would like to look at, which is alt equal to. Okay, so if you press alt equal to, it will naturally sum up the numbers that are above or to the left of it. Okay, so we'll copy it and paste them over here. So as simple as that, you can see that you can get this work done. Now another thing people would ask, that how did you drag it to right without using a mouse? So there is a utility by which you can say Control R. So by using Control R, you can do this function very swiftly. Okay. Similarly, Control D works where you can drag it down. So two shortcuts I am highlighting, Control R. Okay, and in this case, let us say I am just demonstrating it, that if I select this then and I say Control D, it is actually dragging it down. Okay, dragging the formula down. Okay, so Control D, and here it is Control R, which is dragging the formula to right. So these are the two key shortcuts that I wanted to share. So what did we learn? We learned shortcut, or first of all we learned you can use a function sum. For getting the sum function, there is a shortcut alt equal to, which can be used to do the summation. So these are the two shortcuts we learned, and we also learned drag right, it is Control R, and drag down, it is Control D. So these are the two additional shortcuts which I wanted to share with you. Okay, now let us say I complete the computation as are expected to be computed. Okay, and I am doing it a little fast, or you may or you may not understand some portion of it, but what I am saying to you is just pay attention, because we will revisit this freezing of cell reference once again when we are into that section. Okay, so now what has happened over here is that I have computed this percentage contribution of each of them. Okay, and now I have some specific requirements. Okay, now let us say I want to format these all. Okay, so you can select them all and say Control Shift 5. So for percentage formatting, you can simply use Control Shift 5. The second one that I wanted to share is that we want to just specifically do some specific formatting to diagonal matrices, let us say. So what we will do is we will say percentage formatting. Okay, now for this particular exercise I am giving you freedom to use mouse. Okay, so with one decimal place I want the background to be yellow with red color, and text I want to be bold. Now what I do is, most of you would have used Format Painter. If you click on Format Painter, it will copy the format to the next cell, but if you double click on Format Painter, you can take it wherever you want. You see, now this is another utility I got to know after a long time of usage of Excel from somebody else. Okay, that you should double click on this, you can take it to different places, and you can just color any cell in the format you want. Okay, like a Midas touch. Okay, you touch anywhere and it takes the form of gold. Okay, in this case it takes the form of the color that you have chosen or the format that you have chosen. So that is one thing that I wanted to share, formatting cell using the Format Painter. Now let us say I want to copy this from this location, let us say to some other sheet. Okay, let us say I am saying the adjacent sheet. Okay, so let us say I have copied them over here and I am pasting. Now what is happening? It is not getting the references that it is looking for. What has happened? Because it has just copied and pasted the formula as they were. Okay, so that's why we did not get the proper numbers over here. Okay, so to do that, what we need to use is we need to use a utility that is called as paste special. Okay, so what we can do, I have again copied them. Now we go over here. Okay, what we do is we say right click, and then there are different options available. So I am going into paste special. Okay, so I am saying paste special. Okay, so in 2007 only if you press S once it works, but if you are in 2010 10 onwards you need to press S key twice. Okay, so here I choose values. Okay, and you can see there is a shortcut for values. You can simply press V and it will get selected. Okay, and there are different formats that are available over here, and some of them you will see little later, like values and number formats, values formulas and number formats. You need to maintain the column width, you need to maintain the source theme, you need to maintain the columns. You just want formats. By default it is all. Okay, so in this case we are choosing values and I am saying okay, and you will see only values got pasted over here. I need to just format them and use it for the purpose that I want from here onwards. Now that was about paste special value. Now let us see, let us say that if you want to, typical requirement in organizations that the number should be in millions, but by mistake what happened, the numbers that you have picked up over here are in crores. Okay, so let us say that you want to convert these numbers into millions. How do you go about it? You would say that now by default, let us say if you want to convert them, our conversion from crore to million is multiplying each number by 10. So you would go behind each number and put a 0. You go behind each number and put a 0. Now it's a fairly long activity even if we are talking about this 3 by 3 matrix, and if you are considering huge set of numbers like entire P&L balance sheets of several years, then it becomes really tedious activity. So Excel provides a shortcut for this. It says that you insert the number with which you want to multiply in the empty cell, copy that number, select the numbers you want to multiply with, select the numbers where you want to perform the multiplication, on whom you want to perform the multiplication, and then say right click, press special, and here there are options multiply, divide, add, subtract, and say okay. Now one precaution that you need to take over here is that you should not include the cells which contain formulas. If you contain the cells which contain formulas, then the answer gets wrong. Okay, and that's why it is critical that you should not include the formulas while you are performing this operation. Okay, similarly these are numbers in crores and millions, and if you want to convert them into crores, all that you need to do is press special and say divide. Okay, and you would see numbers are not getting changed, meaning the multiplication is effective over here. Okay, so that was about press special. Now there's some other shortcuts which I would like to share with you, so let us have a look at them. I have a list of them ready for you. So one is, we need to frequently use select column, select rows, add and delete rows. Okay, to select column you need to use control space, and to select row you need to use shift space. Okay, so you can practice that, control space and shift space. So if you want to insert a row, first of all you need to select the row and then say control shift plus. Okay, control shift plus. Okay, or you can simply say control plus in your num lock keyboard. Okay, so that was about inserting a column. Now you can insert a row. You can insert a column by doing similar process. Select the column by saying control space and say control shift plus, control shift plus, control shift plus. Okay, so that is how you can add a row. Now naturally when you add a row, the natural other requirement is to delete a row and delete a column. That you can do by control space, say control minus, and say shift space and say control minus. That way you can add and delete rows. Okay, I'm just demonstrating over here, control minus, control shift plus, and I'm selecting a row, control shift plus, control minus. Okay, so you can see addition and deletion of row and column. Okay, then the shortcut for opening a format menu, we have seen so far. I think I have shared this with you earlier as well, that we'll say right click and F. Instead of that you can directly say control 1. Control 1 will directly take you to format cells. So we have seen 1000 separator, align left, align right, align center. Okay, now we have this frequent requirement of aligning the text to center, left or right. Okay, so naturally you will go over here and use the arrow keys. By the way, I haven't found shortcuts for this in Mac system, but in Excel the shortcuts are very simple. Once you press the Alt key, the basic shortcuts will show up. Then you can see naturally the H is shortcut for home. You press H and you would see there are further shortcuts that are getting showed up. So I can use AL to left align, Alt H AC to center align, Alt H AR to right align. Okay, so you can see those shortcuts over here. Okay, so I'm just showing it over here. Can you see those shortcuts over here? Right, those are those shortcuts. Now these are the most critical shortcut that I'm sharing with you. I think most of us know how to cut. Control X, right? Right click, we have seen the button that is between Alt and Control key on the right hand side of your keyboard. Then we have seen paste special, divide by a number, multiply by a number. Now then there is another utility which is using a control and arrow keys. Okay, a shortcut using control and arrow keys. Normally if you want to move from this cell to this A, you will use normally arrow key. Okay, but what you can do is you can simply press a control key and put a downward arrow key, and it will take a jump directly to text. Now what does it do really? How it works is that it will skip the space and hit the text. Okay, so you can see skip the space, hit the text, and it will skip the text and will move to the end of the text. Okay, so if it finds text and I press control downward key, it will hit the end of text. Okay, so skip the space, end of text, skip the end of text, skip the space. Can you see? Skip the space, end of text, end of text, skip the space, skip the space, end of text, skip the space, end of text, end of text, end of text, skip the space. Okay, so that is how it works. So you can go to the extreme right and extreme bottom. So this is XFD 10,48,576th cell, which is the last cell in the entire Excel sheet. Okay, so you would see that the control and arrow key is very powerful. Okay, now if you include a shift key along with this movement, you would see selection happens really fast. Okay, can you see that? Very fast selection. Okay, now that is very critical. So that was another shortcut I wanted to share with you. Then the next shortcut is percentage. I have already shared, Control Shift 5. Next one is inserting a new sheet. Okay, by default you can go over here and click on this to insert a new sheet, but there is another easier way. You can say just Shift F11, Shift F11 to insert a sheet. Okay, so how does it work? You can see, can you see that? Shift F11, you have inserted a sheet. Okay, so that way you can insert a sheet. Okay, now I leave it to you to identify a shortcut for how do you delete a sheet. Okay, explore it on your own. Now inserting a new workbook is Control N, which is again mostly known. So Control N, I have added a new workbook. Then the next one is going to next worksheet, like moving across worksheet is Control Shift or Control Page Down. Simple Control Page Down, Control Page Up, Control Page Down, Control Page Up. You can move across various sheets. 21 I am skipping right now. Okay, to know the shortcuts you can press Alt key, which I already shared with you, and you can identify various shortcut keys further by going inside the tab shortcuts that gets provided after you press the Alt key. Okay, now freezing rows and columns. Okay, now another critical one, the freezing rows and columns. Okay, which is very frequently used once you master Excel. Okay, so let us say that I want to share this with you. This is how I can freeze pens. Okay, now if I move to the right, my left hand side references remain same. Okay, normally those would have vanished. Okay, if there was no cell reference, and if I go down, my references over in the column remain frozen. Okay, so that is how it works, and the shortcut is Alt W F for freeze, and once again F for unfreeze pens. So the shortcuts are same. Alt WFF will freeze and Alt WFF will remove the freezing of pens. Then to move to the top of the page, it is Control Home. So all that you have to do is press Control Home and say Control N to reach the end of the cell where you have done actions or where you have done entries, which includes your addition and deletion of rows. Okay, so that is end of the page. Okay, raised to power symbol shift 6, which is a symbol which is above 6. Okay, so I will say 10 raised to power 6. Okay, and that is 1 million. So raised to power symbol is above 6. Select all, it is control A. You can select all, control A. Okay, then I think most of the people would know control A shortcut. Then searching within the worksheet, it is control F. So I press A and hit enter. It will take me to all the A's in the sheet. Okay, so that is control F. Save is already known. Control S. Control P is for printing. Editing the formula. If I want to edit the formula, I will just press F2. Okay, press F2 to edit the formula. The next one is cell selection in editing. Okay, so if I edit the formula and I want to, let us say, add this A to this, which I by mistake I forgot, so I will say is plus, and once again I will press F2. Now by default you would see when you press F2 once, it is in the edit mode. If you use arrow keys, it will not do any selection. Okay, but if I say F2 once again, it will get into an enter mode. You can see over here it is now pointing. Okay, so if you observe over here, you will see because I pressed F2 twice, it is in the enter mode. Now I can do the selection, and now I have done the selection and changed my formula. That is very critical. I got to know about this shortcut after a long time of using Excel. Okay, then freezing cell references, F4 we have seen, or we will see once again when we do it in freezing of cell reference section. Control Z and Control Y, most of us know. Control Z is known by everybody, undo, but redo in Excel you will see a lot of times you realize that no, whatever I had done earlier was correct, so you will want to redo it. So that is Control Y. Now that's about it that I wanted to share in this session. So I take a pause and we meet in the next session understanding more aspects of Excel. Thank you.